So quickly we try to make this recording. It's Shavuot Tov, and we're still having high holy days. And you saw that I had to speak to you this morning because of all the stuff that was happening. And so we're speaking to you now, right now again. And hopefully we won't have any interference. So people do try to interfere. And so we had a nice Shabbat like we're supposed to. But we told you it's a special Shabbat because it's just before Yom Kippur. And I hope you can hear me because the bad people now are trying to come. But the bad people are damned for all eternity. We did get that information from Word on High. The bad people will not be. They got caught trying to sit a homosexual on the throne of God. That's why we showed you the throne of God. They tried to sit up a homosexual on that throne that God sits on. So you know they're damned, right? There will not be. They will not be for all eternity. So all the people saw a warning against us and did things to us, they're not going to be. They're going to go away. Can you imagine trying to sit something on a beautiful throne like that belongs to God? That's God's throne. God's throne. And they tried to sit homosexual whores in the place of our God on that throne. So don't think they didn't get anything but damned. So if they tried to put things that don't belong on the throne of our God on God's throne, they wouldn't have thought twice about trying to hurt us down here and put things on our throne. Remember I kept telling you that? So now the bad people try to hurt us, all they lose, they go away for eternity. And we live for eternity. Me and my beloved Shabbat, all of our family, kids, and city people, we live for eternity, and the beautiful families have their place. We win. You know, this is God's earth and God's universe, and God made us. I just wanted to let you know the charge that they have. They tried to sit dirty things on the throne of God. That's God's throne. That's what God had to show you. God's throne. A homosexual Apostle Charles and all the dirty things he made. They tried to sit on the throne of God. That's God's throne. We know as Jews that that's God's throne, and nobody sits on God's throne but God. And we worship our God. They make all these false things on here, double things trying to use stuff. They're nothing but the devil. The devil tried to sit on God's throne. So you know everybody knows it, okay? So now they can say what they say, but they did a terrible thing. And all the dirty people that did things are going to go for eternity. And so our God, our beloved God, sits on that throne. Help me and my beloved to our family, because the people to be. That's the only one that decrees life and death and can control it. Nobody, not even the devil. Our God controls life and death and living for eternity. Only our God, not anybody else. So now we want to let you know that too. We have other things we want to say to you, but we want to tell you that we live for eternity. We got not people that did things, so they want to make it clear to you that they tried to sit a homosexual on the throne of our God, who's God alone. Remember the stuff they tried to say? God made law. Our God made laws and rules, Mosaic law. He does not want the sick of looking at the planet. He sees everything. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't slumber. He rests, but he can see. He does not want to look at all the dirty things. We're down here. We're human. We don't want to look at dirty things. But God sees everything. He gets reports. That's it. So the bad people go away. They're really, really wrong. And also, everybody knows that's good. You're not helping. That's damn. That's damn. A prescribed person, because you'll be prescribed just like the person. So you shouldn't listen to them. They were attacking and doing all kinds of things. When I was trying to one of our beloved Rosh Hashanah family synagogue and trying to wrestle, and it's a special Shabbat. It's the holiest time of our year. So all the bad people, they're really blasphemous, really dirty, and all the homosexuals tried attacking me. They came after me, just like before. They're just really blasphemous. So that's the charge they have, trying to sit dirt on the throne of God. Nobody sits on God's throne of God. It's also a charge they have. So we'll talk to you as soon as we can, and try to be careful, safe, alert, and we'll speak to you later and write to you as soon as we can. But I hope I know that those of ours felt the Shabbat, okay, Mr. Sid, and so that's what we're supposed to feel. But our God has granted us eternity and living for eternity. Our people are hurt, come back, resurrection, live for eternity. We made, everybody says, me and my beloved seat, our family, beautiful animals are really keeping they made too, as opposed to. But everybody that hurt us and tried to sort of homosexual and try to get a homosexual to rule the universe, that's also a charge. They're condemned and damned for all eternity. We don't have a homosexual with us. We don't have homosexual horror days. We don't have that. And the woman we're telling you about, she has syphilis of the face. The bad American chemical want to give us Wasserman's disease. That's the test you use to detect the syphilis. None of us have that. They tried to give us that. Somebody said syphilis is a really bad thing, and basically said they were trying to do things to us. The Secret Service of America, bad criminals, well, they're criminal people, Apostle Charles, they knew they would never win, but they thought they could try to give us disease. They tried to give us that. So the woman was telling a fib, and we wanted people to know you can't keep that in there. They said, but she had that before we were kidnapped. She's like that, okay? But they said she's old and she was in apostles' trousers. They did terrible things, people trying to hurt us all. So we just did it too. So miserable is company. So they want you to be miserable like them. And I'm saying my family said it's a shame that they try to keep me from washing, and I have to take an antihistamine to keep from itching. Because I'm onto dirt. I don't. There's a special thing about me, dirt, and I don't get along. This is it. So we're a frum people. We're a clean people. We don't do dirty, nasty things. I'm kosher, and I know the angels told me to eat differently, a little bit differently, just more of like the garden, not other things, like more pure, clean. That some things you can get that are more kosher, but I have to eat like more natural products. So I've been elevated. So basically sit. So and I explained it to you. But people, you can have a kosher product. We had a problem with our food. You can have a kosher product, and somebody that gets in the business as a worker hates you and tries to do stuff to you, like the Tylenol murderer. I mean, nobody ever found that. It had to be somebody that was in the company that making the Tylenol, because they never found that person. So that's what I'm saying. So people do nasty things to their food, and they're maybe working a production line. So that's what I'm trying to say. So we have to get a more natural way of eating. Like we can make stuff from the things from the trees. There are many trees. When I saw the tree, that something that tastes good. So there's the natural trees you can make things from. So I'm just going to tell you that the fruits and vegetables from trees and things. There are fruit trees and vegetable trees. So but we don't live that too. So I'm talking really quickly. I'm trying to talk to everybody. I'm trying to make sure that they don't try to interfere and try to keep us from speaking to you. And so we just want to say that too. We'll talk to you later. And also, what I was going to say to you? Oh, well, if I think of it, because they're trying to keep me from speaking to you, the people that are harassing. So that's basically it. And so we just wanted to let you know these things. And when we think of something else, we'll write to you or speak to you since we can. But please don't try to help a person that's because they're prescribed for death, and that means that if you help them, you suffer too. You cannot hurt them, and now they don't want anything to hurt you because they know that they're condemned too. So we give my beloved because it's simple and good fast really keep we live for eternity as we can, right? And Shavuot, and that's a holy sign. It's from Persia. My parents, my birth parents, mezuzahs, okay. And another lady, a lady had them up from Persia. And I picked them up. There's only two mezuzahs they had in the palace in Persia. My beloved Rosh said, who was king of Israel, and Tsar of Russia, Sultan of Turkey, and Maharaj of India, and he would be king of Persia one day, and with my beloved birth mother, who the bad people killed both of them. This is it. And so when he showed me these things when Mom was gone, this is it. We only had two, and the palace had golden walls. This is it in Persia. And so it's a letter for God. So we just did that too. And it's antique. It's old, and the orb you see on the top. It's really old. There's a gold Magen David on the inside. I made this. So I put it all together and made a ring. And so it said, my husband saw how hurt I was when Dad died. Dad died a long time ago. He was murdered by everybody trying to hurt us all. He was murdered. And somebody said, and they bragged about they didn't know if they'd give him an aneurysm or a heart attack. And obviously, the woman that at our bank that's not real, she confessed that she poisoned Dad. So it had to be like his wine or something. But they said, see, he owned wineries. Our Dad. And so but when he showed me these things, and so when both my parents were gone, I was just really sad, and I looked at these, and I made a ring out of this. Okay, so just wanted to let you know too. Also, when Apostles Charles and Beyonce and all those people and Isha's people were involved in a kid production, and Uncle Carl was shot. Uncle Carl had everybody had told his wife and me that he just knew that Apostles Charles had killed him, had shot him. So even though Apostles Charles hadn't seen that, because that's the only people he had in the palace that of his that were his, because everybody else had Apostle Charles had done to. And Victoria, she was still around, and she was someplace else, so she was still with Uncle Carl, but his daughter, Queen Sylvia, Auntie Queen Sylvia, and me, and Victoria. And Pastor Charles was never his child. They kept trying to get rid of him, make him. They had left. They made them leave him and Beyonce, Brooks and Planet, like his son-in-law. They had made Pastor Charles and them stop bothering him. When I was kidnapped, they went around and demanded things, and that's how he got there. So he said, but he's the one who obviously shot King Carl Gustav. He said because when he was dying, he said God was telling him that that's who shot him. And also, when they came into our home and started Lebanon War II, it's obvious that Impostors Charles and Victoria shot my husband along with all the other ones, along with that woman came too at one time, from what I understand. And I remember a little bit about her, but she was trying to kill us, and she's a weird. She said that there's no such thing as good with people. So she was trying to kill us, trying to take our things. She's a lighter one. And so they were trying to steal our things, and so it's obvious that Impostors Charles had something, and other bad people there that tried to get in our home. Where my husband is a police also, and something backfired in his face, like his weapon. So that's how it happened. Even though the woman would probably try to tell a lie, like she did, but that's what happened. So okay, but he's all right now. And my beloved Sweet is all right, and I'm very glad, and we're glad that we all live for eternity, and God granted us beautiful things. Okay, so we talk to you as soon as we can. Trump's careful, safe, alert. And why do I have the leopard? Because you're supposed to be strong like that. It's from the Bible. Okay, so it's holy too. So we'll talk to you as soon as we can. Trump's careful, safe, alert. And a Shavuot Tov, and it's still high holy days. So please have a wonderful rest of the time for the fest. Have a fast. Remember that, and we'll talk to you as soon as we can.